Hello world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. Hope you're doing fine, cause it's Q&A time again. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. If not, as always, I hope it gets better because we all know life can be trying, but it is what you make out of it. But hello, glad to see you all in here. Nice to sit down, hang out. This should be fun. So, welcome to another Friday night live Q&A where you can ask me and the community, awesome community that we have here, questions on keeping freshwater shrimp, fish, and plants, and all that jazz. So, if I don't know something, which nobody knows everything, let's get that out of the bag. Somebody else may. Or we all know we have a lot of different experiences within this hobby too. Fishocracy is in effect. So yeah, you'll get, I guess you can get a little live fishocracy here. I'll just put it this way. That way you guys can see it. Even though the lighting is horrible through my hair, I don't care. Hello, 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 all you awesome people in the chat. Glad to see y'all. Sparky was being all crazy, so took me a little while to get on here on regular schedule because, you know, that's why I always really do not prefer to schedule anything if possible, because it's not always possible with life to schedule everything. But I'm here. And I hope you guys got some questions tonight. It's been a long weekend, or a long week. I'm ready for the weekend. I got a lot of parts and pieces for some projects I've been wanting to finish up here, and I'm excited to get those done. Candy Overhauls, thank you so much for linking that and for doing what you do, Candy. Appreciate you. Sand Creek Aquatics says, hello. LRB says, how's your day? It's going well. I've been kind of groggy today. I always try to look on the bright side, but I don't know. It's just been real dreary around here for a long time. Like every day is so dreary. I'm ready for the sun to pop out and just say hello. Let me say that much. And there's a lot of projects I'm ready to just get into gung-ho. And I'm excited to have the weekend this weekend to do it. And I'm excited to share with you guys what I'll be doing too. Which I finally did get my newt tank done, which is exciting. Says, what are your plans with your golden white clouds, Alex, breeding fish? So no real plans right now. I've just been keeping them. Like, I'll play musical fish with them in the summer, and I'll get like a little bit of yield out of them, not anything that's really amountable. So I've just been kind of building up the schools, but I haven't really focused on them. I've actually been planning on doing like some specialty tanks to deal with egg scatterers better in a more like industrial or production type manner. But not quite there yet because I've got to have the time to spend with the fry too. A lot of it's time management as well. I mean, having a 5-year-old I got to chase around every day for most of the day, and his mom hasn't been getting off till like 6 o'clock at night. So my work does not get started until real late. Now there is some things I can do with Wesley, but to like really focus into projects, it's not always the easiest. Curtis Murphy, has anyone had any success with Hygger LEDs? Starting my first planted tank. I've never even heard of them. Hygger LEDs. Never heard of them. So maybe somebody in the chat has. Have you ever euthanized a fish with clove oil? So no, I've never actually euthanized any fish. And I don't know, like, to really be the decision maker on when that fish should actually go, I've had some fish that have looked goofy for like years, and they still be some of the happiest fish. So to really decide whether that fish should die or not, I don't know. I don't usually take that decision and make it for myself and let nature do its thing. Because a lot of times, you'd end up killing them for nothing. if you went by the status quo of what people talk about. David Reed says, how is that pond coming along at LRB Aquatics? So it's, with all that stone, it's not actually a pond, but it is 4 ponds once I get it done. They're actually for retaining walls, so I can level out the backyard to make flat space. You got to make it fancy too, because of the neighborhood. So, which actually brings me up to another thing is I'm not planning on being here much longer, but I will make another. I got to make a whole video all about that, but it's gonna be for awesome reasons and something big, something huge, and I will share with you guys all that later. My Patreons know, I kind of shared with them. But I mean, it would take a whole discussion within the video. Like, I probably should almost live stream afterwards too, after it, just to make sure everybody's on track. I also got some new lights, which I plan on hooking up in here in the garage, so that'll be cool. Try to get that done this weekend too. Oh, I gotta get out of Top Chat too. I remember that by myself. Oh, look at me, I'm a big boy. All right. Man, you guys got lots of questions here. Okay. Holy moly, I was trying to get back to the one. So sorry if I missed any of your questions, because I was gonna try to scroll back up, but looks like I'm way behind. Hey all, Lucas, still having snow on your tubs outside? So there was a little snow this morning. All the fish are doing well in there. I haven't changed the water once. Everybody's fine. I do probably need to remove some algae, give them a little more swim space. That way they'd breed out more. Besides that, they're all doing great. I really haven't been feeding them that much either with the cooler temps. And since there's so much algae, they can eat that. Les Turnbull, very important question. When you come to Canada to visit Windsor Aquarium Society, what kind of beer do you want? So I'm not really a beer guy myself. Beer just kind of fills you up. Now I don't mind a little rumsky. Preferably Bacardi parties, they work for me. Cichlid Center, I'm becoming, and I can't wait to go out to Windsor Aquarium Society. I absolutely have a ball with you guys. Great club. Cichlid Center says, I'm becoming more intrigued by plants. Are they a lot more work? So I want to say they're a lot more work, and they can actually take a lot of the work out, especially when it comes to like trying to keep checks and balances within your tanks. They can kind of be the neutralizer, which actually algae is Mother Nature's great neutralizer. So say you've got too much ammonia or whatever, nitrates, the plants can uptake that, or algae can. And usually if you don't have a light on a tank, see, when you have plenty of tanks, it forces you to put a light on the tank. So if you didn't have a light on there, a lot of that stuff could build up more easily because the algae wouldn't be able to feed off of it, opposed to if there was a light or not. But since you do have a light on there, you could either grow the plants with the excess nutrients, because often the reason why algae shows up is because of excess nutrients. So if you're fertilizing your tank to say, and you're starting to get algae, a lot more algae, and you keep fertilizing it, well, you keep feeding excess nutrients within it, which keeps feeding the algae. So try to cut back on your fertilizers when you do that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely plants add a whole natural effect to the aquariums, and it takes a lot of those checks and balances out. So I would say it's recommendable. Now, as far as maintenance, that can depend on what kind of plants you're keeping. There's a lot of slow growing plants, there's a lot of fast growing plants. There's people who use CO2, which is like steroids for plants. I personally do the low tech, low maintenance tanks. That way I can kind of just keep more tanks. Because honestly, if I had the fast growing stem plants, I would not. This is what happens to my stem plants. Well, you can't see it real well with the light right now, but things will grow up to the top, and then it ends up growing into a marsh, and that's because I can't keep up with the stem growth. So if I can't keep up with the tank, that's what ends up happening with it. And I mean, it's not bad. The fish love it. So really, it's up to your maintenance. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder for sure too when it comes to that. But great question. Yeah, plants definitely, yeah. Like that's what really made me fall in love with this hobby is once I realized you could put plants in there and create your own little ecosystems, oh, it was game over. Stephen Conroe, thank you so much for the $20 super chat and the support. Great to see you in here, buddy. He says, buy that SC Aquatics guy a Bacardi next month. Cafe Talk. Yes, I will be over in the Columbus area doing a talk for the Cafe Aquarium Club. And that is actually Steven's club, I believe. And thank you, brother. I appreciate the $20. And yeah, I'll have to probably come hang out with you a little bit. Fish Tank Barn, thank you so much for the support again. Throwing down a $5 super chat. It says tip jar. Thank you, my brother, my cow. And Tiffany White, thank you so much for the super chat. $5 super chat says for all the fish adventures. Well, thank you. She's one of my Patreons. She knows what's going down with the house and stuff and kind of the plan. And I'm excited for it. I need it in my life. It's just the right thing to do. And one of my other Patreons, Kay Walker, she mentioned, she's like, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. So that just hit home with me because I know I would too. If I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. It's a big step. It's kind of a risk. Well, yeah, everything in life's a risk, but I don't know. I'm excited. It's what I need to do, and yeah, I'll keep you guys all in tune on that here coming up. And Sand Creek Aquatics, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I don't know why that didn't put that on my top banner. I know I wasn't that slow, I don't think, but if I was, sorry. It says 2 upcoming adventures, excited. Well, thank you, Sand Creek Aquatics. I appreciate you and your support. And yes, I'm very excited for it. And yeah, that was before Stevens. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't miss out on these guys because they support me and they give me help. I've got to acknowledge it for sure because it is so appreciated and I can't mention in words how appreciative it is. The Aquarium Guys, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. It says, hearty hello from the Aquarium Guys podcast. Well, hello. Maybe we'll have to link up here someday. I know my time schedule, a lot of people have been wanting me to do things and like, especially these next couple months, like they are booked to the max. And I've got all these projects I've been wanting to get done too, and just, it's hard to get things done. Like even when you're running a business, chasing a child, dealing with hundreds of aquariums, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining one bit because I love it and I actually do. Like, I take my time to relax, take time to, like, learn new things and stuff like that besides aquariums. And I appreciate all that. But, you know, time is of the essence. That's what I'm just trying to say. Anyways, Robble, looking for your questions. Preston John says, just ordered some plants and shrimps from you. Super pumped. Yes, I saw you had an order. Thank you so much. And it should be on the way. You should be getting that either today or tomorrow. So I appreciate your order and your support. What plants are in the big tank with active fish? So this one actually has all Taiwan lilies in it. I'll flip you around, that way you can see it. I actually really love this plant. It's so easy to grow. Like this tank barely has any light on it. If you were to see this in person, you'd be like, what? That's growing plants with that light? It's kind of almost as bad as this one with the Nubius. Just because these LEDs are old and they've just kind of lost their punch. They haven't gone out all the way. They've just kind of, they don't have the power anymore. Chuck Black, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Chuck. And Sand Creek Aquatics, thank you so much for becoming a Patreon. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's the Taiwan Lily. You could actually grow it up out of the water as well. That's what it's doing there. It's kind of hard to see with the balance of the light. But it will grow up off the top of the water. I've got a lot of tanks where I do that, especially like over here. and it creates like these rooted marsh areas. So this is all Taiwan Lily. There's none actually buried in the substrate. You got a lot of reflection there, but you can see it's all rooted here. So it's like a floating plant too. You can do it either way. But that's all Taiwan Lily on the top. Reflection's terrible. But yeah, it's a cool plant. I like it. Very versatile. Oh, here's the new lights for I got in. The one's a little bluer. I recently did a video on these shop lights over here. And what were they? They were like 5,000K. But I did find a 6,000K after I bought these, which is a little more blue. And they've got the same strength, both 4,000 lumens. This one looks brighter, but this one looks like it penetrates more. I think the color is just more clear, so the reflection doesn't pop as much. But Natural Aquariums, thank you so much for becoming a Patreon as well. Got a bunch of baby Perulina vittatas in there I just found maybe about an hour ago, which was exciting. Robert Turner, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you, Robert. You guys are awesome with the help and support. Without you guys, seriously, my life would be a lot rougher. Faux show. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. Oh my gosh. David H, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, what's your opinion on assassin snails in a shrimp tank? I got pest snail problems, or do you have any other recommendations for pest snails? So as far as pest snails go in a shrimp tank, hold on, I gotta get a drink. My mouth is super dry. But they will, they'll go through a boom in a cycle where if you're overfeeding especially, they're a good indication if they're really booming in there, you're overfeeding. Because often the shrimp will eat the food way before the snails will. Now if it's sitting there for a long time, the snails will get a chance to get to it. Or you can feed less, more frequently. That way the shrimp get to it more than the snails. That can keep the pest snails back. But if you want to continue chucking food in there and just going all out and letting the snails breed, they do go through a boom. They will figure it out. And you could either remove them, get a puffer in another tank that you could feed the snails to. We sell them here. I actually don't like assassin snails for shrimp tanks as much. I used to have them actually, and I have had some oddities happen with those tanks, so I don't know if it's really related, so I'm not gonna like pinpoint it yet. But I was never a fan of the assassin snails because it was hard to balance. I really prefer to have snails to help balance tanks, especially for overfeeding and stuff, because often overfeeding and old food getting into the systems of our fish or shrimp can be more detrimental than anything that those snails can cause. So I've always been pro snail. And I used to try to breed like the assassin snails and try to counter the snails with assassin snails and all that stuff. And I don't know, I never really had a whole lot of success with it. Or I never really, I mean, I had some breed out, especially this 40 with these tricolor neos. There was a ton that bred out in there. But I don't know. I don't think they actually can catch a shrimp, so if you're worried about them catching your shrimp, I don't know. That was kind of a long-winded answer for that, especially since I try to knock out so many questions. Danny Ken Aquatics, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, brother. I appreciate you, Ken and Danny. Says, hello from Portland. Hello, hello. I absolutely love Portland. Portland's weird like me, so I can relate. A little bit. I don't relate with everything like politically. Don't even try to categorize me in anything like that. But as far as the people being cool, being free-spirited, and that kind of stuff, I can appreciate. And thank you so much, Daniken Aquatics, for your support and for the fish. Those Tetras were a great, great, great sight to see when I pulled those out. And now they are swimmingly happy, and they've got some pearl weed in their tank. and hopefully I can get some babies out of them. Can angelfish and rainbow fish live in 72 degrees 8 hours a day? So, yeah, I've had them around that range. Many a times, actually, with hundreds of angelfish and hundreds of rainbow fish for longer than 8 hours. It's once you get into like under 70s, then you're gonna start having more problems. Owl Aquatic Inc. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Owl Aquatics. Says, in your opinion, what is the best Caridina shrimp to start experience with neos but want to expand? So if you're trying to make that transition with the shrimp and trying to get into more of the Caridina type species, I would definitely lean towards the tiger shrimp. They're kind of in between the tigers, the bees, and the neos. Bees will be a little more tougher. They love it a little more acidic. Sometimes the tigers, they don't even mind some hard water. There's some strains and lineage out there. And that's another thing too. So if you're getting it from, it all depends on where you're getting it too. Some importers, they keep them in super soft water, the tigers, so they're used to that. But there's some other breeders and keepers that keep it in hard water. And for instance, JH Aquatics, he's in the chat, and he keeps his tangerine, or no, his yellow King Kongs in a harder water. Which the King Kongs, I'm not sure if how they really categorize those. But yeah, there is some people out there that have tigers in harder water. Jessica Hussey says, what are the temps of your outside tubs? How are they? I have giant danios active in my goldfish pond in Arizona. They are awesome. Yeah, those danios, they can tolerate some temperature. So I did mention that earlier in the live stream. They're all doing great. And as far as the temps right now, I have no clue. I don't go out there and test it all the time. I was getting notifications hitting the wrong button there. But hopefully we're back. But yeah, I don't go out there, I don't test the water and see what the temps are all the time, because I don't know. As long as the fish are happy, they're swimming around, they're wanting food every time I go out there, I would say that they're doing good. But it's definitely nice to have something out there in the wintertime for sure. LRB Aquatics, where did you find your 6K lights? Actually, I stumbled upon them. Like, it's really hard to find a blue shop light. They usually have that yellow or orangish tinge to them. But it was the same link I put on the, not last video I had, but the video before it. It was about the verses. Like, it showed the fish room, the utility section before and after with the lights. And I got like a 5,000K or something like that with that. But when I went to go buy them this time from another link, there was a 6,000K option for some reason, which I would have nailed that way before if I would have seen it. And I actually do, like, I've done the research trying to find 6,500K shop lights. I never get anything on my Google search for it. But I've never actually tried to pinpoint 6,000K lights either. But for some reason it had the option, so I hit that up. Because I was going to buy like a pack of 16, but they had a pack of 12 of those 6K, and I was like, swoop. But yeah, I'm excited about those lights for sure. Because they're not too bad. They're just a little over 20 bucks each, and that's for a 48-inch light, so that's pretty good. Grant Cook, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. It says, hey LRB, I bought green endlers from you and my female just ballooned up and looks like she is hemorrhaging. I can send pics. Any advice or have you seen? So she might be having problems with her pregnancy. So maybe she's getting backed up. Do you know your water? Like, is it softer? Is it harder? They really do prefer harder water. Sometimes not having the right type of water can give complications. It's really hard to tell. Sometimes that stuff just happens. It's not often that it happens, but it can happen. I'll try to look out for your questions too, and I don't want you to super chat me. I'm going to be looking for your name, Grant Cook. I appreciate your super chat, $5 super chat, but let me know a little more about your tank, your water parameters and stuff like that, and hopefully we can help you out. Paul, Howell, Lucas, what nitrate level do you feel comfortable with on your tank? So honestly, I probably hardly have any nitrates in my tank because of my plants and my beneficial bacteria. I've got enough mature beneficial bacteria within my substrates and my water column that I probably don't even have nitrates. I've tested my tanks recently because Haley used to bust my balls about it because I would never test it, blah, blah, blah. And I did test it one time and pretty much all of them had nothing. There was like one that had like a very minute trace in it, and there was even one that didn't even have plants in it. It was nothing but substrate and a colony of guppies, and still didn't have nitrates in it. So I don't really test for my nitrates with these planted tanks. I know what these tanks are doing now. If you've got a lot of nitrates going in your tank too, I don't know, you've got something sour going on. If you're doing a planted tank, it's really hard to get nitrates gathered up in a planted tank. And if you do, then just get a faster growing plant. That'll take care of it. Holy moly, I can't keep up with you guys. Mr. Snicklefritz, and oh my gosh, I hope I don't miss Grant Cook's question too. Mr. Snicklefritz, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. It says, happy Friday. Question, my stag antlers have thrown only male fry, started with pair, now have 10 males and still one female. Have you heard temps can affect sex ratio? I'm keeping at 76. Thoughts? So yes, they say often temperature can affect rates and ratios. I've noticed that myself. I don't know which way exactly it swings. I think the cooler, it may go with more females, and then the warmer, it may go with more males. I could be wrong on that though. So if you guys know in the chat, let me know. I have the same results though with my steak antlers. I get a lot of males out of that strain that I have for some reason too. So sometimes it can be breeding as well. But also sometimes it can be temps or a mix. Tech Turtle thrown down to $5 super chat, says it's just cause it's been a while. Well, Tech Turtle, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you. You guys are awesome. All right, I gotta scroll. I gotta make sure. Did I see? Okay, I knew I saw Twin City Guppies. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Glad to see you in here, King. Says, what is your favorite guppy strain at the moment? I say at the moment because mine changes every week. Mine would probably have to be the Fire and Ice Platinum Guppies for sure. Those things are just fire. And then I've got these other Platinum Guppies that I have, and I haven't released yet. They're just a straight Platinum. They are absolutely beautiful. And I've actually been working on this Platinum red and black koi hybrid mix, which is kind of like a pastel red and black. It's really wild looking. But yeah, it's hard to pick an absolute favorite with anything. And those are the ones I'm really digging right now. Oh, and these albino galaxy guppies. These things are pretty sweet. Okay, now I am there. I'm glad I know how to speed read. Makes this a lot easier. Lucas, do you recommend Flooville 3.0 and 20 liter planted with CO2? If you got CO2, depends on the plants too. You got to think about your plants. Are your plants going to be able to uptake all that light and photosynthesis, or is it a Nubius where photosynthesis is really slow? So it depends on the plants. And the faster grower you have, the more maintenance you do. So keep that in mind. That's the trade. That's the trade-off with that. Robert Turner, I have a 10-gallon planted with CO2, ran it, and have 2 Flooville planted nano LEDs on it. What's a good height from the water surface to keep these lights at? So 10-gallon CO2. I mean, it's really up to you. I'd probably go like 6 to no more to 6 to 8 inches around there. Grant Cook, there we go. Okay, I've also had this female and male for probably 4 months now, and she's had babies and was doing fine previous. Okay, so they bred out. Yeah, it might just be a freak thing. She just might be having complications right now with her pregnancy. As far as like what to do, I really don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. Because unless you like went in there and did like guppy C-section or something like that, which I don't personally know how to approach and wouldn't really try. I don't know. If somebody else knows, please let us know. Thomas C., you're welcome. Glad you like the crypts. I actually got quite a few more I need to get on there too. Got a list of some other stuff. See, that's the thing. Like, I could be running this fish room at a lot more potential than it really is. And I've kind of been getting it organized, but I'm gonna get it organized for the next person. Because it would be a shame to break down. Okay, my water is rock hard, 8.2 pH, says Grant Cook. Yeah, they like that stuff. Okay, Thomas C., thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, just ordered some crypts, thanks. Well, you are very welcome. Dude, glad you like the crypts. I love crypts myself. They're one of my favorite plants. They're easy to grow. They absorb things really well. They don't grow too fast. They don't grow too slow. Craig Parrish, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, Craig. My arm's getting tired. Let's see. Appreciate that, Cody's Aquatics. Ooh, you hear that? Can you guys hear that? It's kind of nice. It's what I call peace and quiet. It's one thing I like about filters is they don't, or when you don't run filters, it's nice and quiet in your fish room. Doesn't make a bunch of noise. Not to mention all the plastic and industrial waste I don't cause by using filters and all the doodads and gadgets and tech and stuff. Like, yeah, gear's cool and whatnot, but this isn't like we're running computers and laptops. We're supposed to be connected with Mother Nature, not connected with consumerism, not connected with plastic developments and stuff like that. Granted, I do prefer a rim on a tank than a rimless tank, which is plastic. But that's mostly to keep snails in and like panagaras and suckerfish in, because that's the one thing about rimless tanks people don't really take into effect is snails will pop out, the suckerfish can pop out, slip right out. But with that trim, it actually helps. Oops, okay. Scrolling. I wonder how far off the chat. So sorry if I'm missing any of your guys' questions. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom, see how far I am. Yeah, I'm a little bit of ways. Okay, there we go. Guppy Boy says, how long do I wait for my shrimp to give her shrimplets? She's got buried on the Wednesday. So it usually takes them, I think it's like 30-day cycle. I haven't had anybody ask me that question in a long time. I think it is a 30-day cycle. I haven't really even thought about that in a long time. It's like a hard cave in the bag. I do need to do a couple more shrimp videos for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have subscribed to me due to shrimp, which actually one of my biggest videos is a shrimp video. And I think it's like, it's a good video, but I don't know, it's a little cringeworthy. But you know what, YouTube runs with what it runs with. What are you gonna do? But I do need to make more shrimp videos. It's just now I got shrimp in with like tons of other tanks, I don't know. It's like once you go down that shrimp rabbit hole and you've dove all the way into it, like how long do you really want to spend in that rabbit hole? Like, yes, I still love it, I still do it, I still keep them. but my focus is elsewhere now, I guess. Lucas, the guppies of St. John miss you. Well, hopefully I can reconnect with them here real soon. That'd be nice. Lori Petrovsky says, I love that name, Petrovsky. Can I cut tail fin down some because guppy dude looks like he's straining to swim, or is he just an old dude ready to kick the bucket? So I definitely want to cut his tail fin down. I don't know how that would feel, and he couldn't really tell you how that would feel either. I would probably give him like leaf or something floating on the top, or some kind of plant that floats up on the top. Like pearlweed's a great one. Like these marshy type of plants, Taiwan lilies, like things you can float like that, they can actually rest up on there, kind of like you would do for a betta. Maybe give him plants to rest up on. That way he doesn't have to go up and down from the surface as much. He could be old. Really hard to tell without, I mean, really hard to tell with guppies, period. Excuse me. Cody's son, thank you for telling people to hit that like button. Scared Smithless says, if you see your guppy giving birth, would it benefit her to turn off the lights to set the mood, or just let her go at it? Actually, I would just probably let her go at it, because if you set off the light, it could like cause her to react, and that could cause complications. So if she's just doing her thing, just let the moment be, let it pass, let it happen. And because when the lights do go off in like these tanks that I have guppies and stuff in, they all start heading down to the bottom. Like they'll react. That's their natural react, just to go poof, poof, and go down. Sometimes they'll take their time. It depends on their comfort level. But if it's unexpected, then they'll just start to the bottom because they don't know what's happening. And that's actually where guppies sleep. So when you're breeding guppies as well, it's good to have coverage on the top of the tank and on the bottom of the tank, because during the day, the fry will be up towards the top. During the night, they'll be on the bottom with all the adults. And sometimes those adults like midnight snacks, and that's actually what happens to most of the fry and why they start disappearing. People will be like, oh, I don't ever see them eating them. I don't know why they're disappearing. It's because they're eating them at night when they're on the bottom. Getting them late night munchies. Can you please tell me about ghost shrimp, please? So ghost shrimp, they've been in the hobby for a long time. A lot of people use them as feeders. Some people keep them now. They will bury in your fresh water, but they need salt water to actually hatch them out, kind of like Amanos. Sometimes you will get sold grass shrimp that look like glass shrimp, which are from America. And a lot of common waters around the world have types of grass shrimp, which are similar to glass shrimp. And they can actually breed out for you if you do get your hands on some of those, which is cool. Still interested in Congo paint checks, Bricardi. I'm getting some this weekend. Mickey, oh, that's awesome. Right now, I don't really need to be taking any new fish. Just due to what's about to happen here. I mean, I guess I'd tell you guys, I'm planning on moving to an island. Like, I want to move to an island, or I'm not saying I want to, I'm going to move to this island and live in a tropical climate where I can keep fish year-round in ponds all the time, grow things, have a garden, and yeah, enjoy the sun and Mother Nature. Reconnection with Mother Nature. Now, I don't want to tear this down. I can't tear this down. It would just be a shame to tear this down. I'd rather have somebody take over, which will be an amazing opportunity for somebody. What's the biggest fish you keep? Probably the discus, and I got a Bashir, but he's not big enough right now. I like the small fish. You can keep a lot more small fish than you can big fish. Now, if I had space for bigger aquariums, stuff like that, maybe, I don't know, it depends on the fish. Some of these monster fish and stuff, you gotta, to really properly do it, you have to do like what Ohio Fish Rescue did and turn your pool into an aquarium. But if you're trying to stick them in like a couple 100 gallons or something like that, then probably not the best. Are you coming to San Francisco as well with co-op by any chance? I'd love to meet everyone there. I'm not sure what's going on in San Francisco. I haven't heard anything about that. What's up from Terre Haute? All right, Gene. Your views on deep substrate without plants, pros and cons. Well, definitely pro is it will hold a lot of beneficial bacteria. I don't have any problem. I don't see any issues with it, really. Like, yeah, some gases can build up underneath there, and if you push them, it smells like a fart, but for the most part, it's not going to do anything to your water column. And holding all that beneficial bacteria in there, like I said, I have guppy colonies that have no plants in them, just substrate, and no nitrates, no ammonias, no issues. So, nothing wrong with it. Just do your water changes, prevent algae and stuff, because if you're doing like botanicals and whatnot, you're going to get a lot of organic breakdowns. But if you don't have much light, shouldn't be a problem either. Depends on how you balance it all. Antran, did you know that certain types of Pennywort is edible? Being Vietnamese, born and raised for 10 years, we eat all sorts of weird plants. So yeah, I've heard that actually quite a bit of our aquatic plants, like Lymphnophilia aromatica, for instance. A lot of people use that in dishes, which I don't remember if it was Vietnamese or not, or Indonesian that was telling me that. There's somebody else that was mentioning that. But yeah, it's really cool. I've actually tried pearlweed. Pearlweed is tasty. What else have I tried? I think, what was it, guppy grass? Guppy grass wasn't like much. The pearlweed actually had a distinguishable taste. Vallisneria is kind of like a salad. Duckweed, don't try duckweed. That's, or not duckweed, but water lettuce. That was terrible. As expected with trying to eat a fuzzy plant. Thomas Glazer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Glad to see you in here again. Thomas says, for some flip-flops. Bro, I appreciate that. I so need some new flip-flops. That is totally my style. I am anti-shoe all day. It's a conspiracy. I have to wear shoes. Just kidding. Can female bettas lay bubble nests, or do I have a sneaker male? So, maybe you have a sneaker male. Not often you see females do it. I'm sure it is possible that they would do it. I have seen bettas breed without bubble nests as well. So, they don't always go by the textbook, I've learned with bettas. So the best thing to do is just try to sex them. Will Hygrophila compacta melt back real bad if it's been gross immersed? I guess it depends on how thick the root is, how strong the base is, the root ball, the stalk. Will depend on how quick it melts back and how fast it can grow back. It should melt back to where you're losing some leaves, but at the same time you're gaining some new growth all at the same time. I think I accidentally scrolled up like way far. Jetser's Aquariums, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, Jetser. Glad to see you in here. Just saying hello. Well, hello, Jetser's Aquarium. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Texas Andy Aquatics. I recently heavily researched and started a few deep sand bed setups, and as long as you have enough oxygen in the water, it neutralizes the bad sulfuric gases that come out of the substrate. So the whole reason of that is the fact that the oxygenation, and it's not really the oxygen doing the work, but it's the breaking up of the top water surface tension to outgas the sulfuric gases. Yeah. But even if you get them in there, I've never had any issues, and I run no filters. It's one thing to do research, and it's one thing to have the experience too. A lot of people, and I'm not going to name names, but a lot of people read a lot of articles, and then they make a lot of videos, and they talk a lot of stuff. And not many have experience or go through the things to realize that it's not all that. I mean, I could get way deep in that. I'm not even going to start. Muddy Waters, thank you so much for the $5.55. I appreciate you, Muddy Waters. Glad to see you in here again. And yeah, without you guys' support, it'd be so much tougher. Oh my God, Mr. B. Nobody wants to see that. Do you cook the hornwort? I don't know. You probably fry it up. It's thick enough. I don't know how that would taste, because they kind of have hard leaves. What a random topic to come in with. LOL of this show. Well, awesome, Tony Levine. Probably talking about something else. Oh, culinary in the plants, yes. Somebody needs to do like a book on that. I think that would be cool. Do galaxy raspberries eat baby shrimp? Yeah, there's a possibility they can, for sure. And they can get into the small cracks and crevices. Any fish like that, even the little chili raspberries, can eat the little legs and eat the babies and stuff, unfortunately. I've tried to get away with it. It's not easy. Just because they are small. Like usually you can do the rock piles with like kind of bigger fish, but with those smaller fish, they'll go right into the rock piles for them. Or into the planted material. They can't get away as well. And they'll spend all day hunting. Kind of like a betta will. Paul Howe. Lucas, what state or area do you want to live on, an island or tropics? So on an island, St. John Island at that. And I know I just recently there, oh, I got island fever or whatever. Well, yeah, I do got island fever. But I've been to other islands before. I did research some of the other islands. The reason why I like this island, it's small. It's not a big community. It's really kind of rural. A lot of it is preserved. And it's just nice all the time. And they have the beaches where they have that bioluminescent algae, which would be awesome to see. And yeah, I would like to do some fish farming out there and just grow plants, aquatic plants and all kinds of stuff. And who knows, like, I don't know. But yeah. It'll be exciting. Does anyone know if I can get away with ember tetra and shrimplets? So, ember tetras are kind of thicker. If you use small like this size of rocks, you can make piles out of it to where those ember tetras can't get in there. Which they're not much bigger than a galaxy rasboras. But if you do use smaller rocks, you could probably get away with it, but it's not as easy to do. Oh man, let's see, 48 minutes already, wow. You guys make time fly. Oh my God. Should I shut off CO2 when lights are off? Yes, Robert Turner, you should. That CO2 can build up and it can gas out your fish and it can mess them up. Your fish can get drunk off CO2. CO2 can kill them, and because when the plants at night, they'll absorb all that oxygen that's in that tank, and it'll be left with too much CO2, and it will not be good. Tiffany White asking Lady LRB how she feels about living on the island. She's actually probably more excited than I am. I think it'll be great for the whole family all together because Wesley, he's often on his phone or watching TV, stuff like that. I think it'll be a good way for us all to just unconnect and reconnect with Mother Nature. Like unconnect from the matrix and onto Mother Nature more. Heard you're speaking at the Sockeye here in Arizona in April. I will be there. Well, awesome, Kelly. I will be there, and it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. Never been to Arizona, but I am excited to go down there, and I love my killifish. Loey DeBecker says, do you have any idea how Emphysema Austral do in a community with Norman lamp-eye killies and maybe epilotes? Would that be a good idea? The Emphysemians sometimes, especially the Australs, they can have attitude problems. The lamp eyes and the epilotes, they can tend to be alright together. Or especially like the lamp eyes, they're pretty calm. The epilotes, with them, I don't know. The best thing to do, like you could probably do it, and it's not like they're gonna kill each other instantly. You'll be able to see if there's aggressions and stuff like that. I would say test it out, because even different fish have different behaviors within their personalities. Like one blue gularis could be mean, one blue gularis could be nice, one rainbow fish could be mean, one could be nice. It's just the way it goes. Same with bettas, same with all of them. So it does depend on the personality of your fish as well. Lady LRB says, Tiffany White, who would say no? My only thing is I'd like to visit once before we move. Punchy Pants, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Oh my God. It's not about granules now. Now it's for a thong. Oh, well, thank you, Punchy Pants. I appreciate that. Oh, nobody wants to see that. That would be terrible. Now my face is real red. And of course, there's not a question to jump into. Lady LRB says, I'm the one working a 50+ hour week corporate job. I'm ready to go. And a lot of it will be wanting to get into something I've been needing to do for a long time and wanting to do. And this was even way before I met Sarah. Like, I've actually had a real estate license and stuff like that. I've got what I like to call a ghetto master's degree in real estate, where I've got a design degree on how to build and design houses. I've worked construction for over a decade. And I've also had my real estate license, but I've always wanted to get into rental properties and never did pull the trigger on it, and I do need to do that. That way I can create some cash flow and create some opportunities to do more things in life and offer more value to other people as well, instead of having to rely on sponsorships and do things myself. So angelfish and rainbow fish could live in 72 degrees 8 hours every day. I don't see why not. Yeah, I don't think they. 72 might be like a little towards the chill. I honestly can't say, because I've never actually done that. Now I have had them down to those low, at least 76 or 78 in the summer. So if they get a change, they get a switch. I love the warmth. I've loved the heat. I love the summer. But if you put me in questions like I'm trying, what if who would say that you can get it at, like, but if I were to actually shape this thing up into like a business, I'm sure there would be somebody out there who would love that opportunity, because it took a lot to build this up. There's a lot of money put into this, and it would just be a shame to tear it all down. Especially with all the rare species, rare plants and stuff like that. Bongholio, if you move to the island and leave behind your tanks, will you reset up for your business? So yes. Yes, I definitely will. What will you do differently in a new fish room on a tropic island? So, I can add in salt water as well. I could probably get into more designing and aquascaping. Not, like, I'll do some production. The production probably won't be the same. So when I do offer the house, I'll offer my website too. I won't offer LRB Aquatics, but I'll offer the website, everything in it, the stock, all that stuff. So it'd be like starting anew for the most part. And I would do more into like detailed aquascaping. There's some other ideas I want to do outside as well that nobody's seen. There's a couple other builds I want to do too that nobody's ever, somebody else is gonna. Hopefully, see, how many hours a day would you run light spent algae? So that really depends on the strength of your light, the type of your plants. People who run planted aquariums first causes algae is like you gotta YouTube. Be Aquatics in real estate and own a and do day trading full time. If you need any help or anything, please let me know. I'd love to help. Well, great for the love and life show. Property that I got 4-unit property is in. I never actually shot for it because I love my aquariums and stuff like that. And you know what? It was awesome, and it still is awesome. My tank, like, that's not even equitable. Time and money wise, it would not be equitable to give tours for me here. No, between shrimp, plants, and guppies, dude, this, you can make a living for sure. And you know what? I went through the hard periods. Like, the hard period is the first couple of years of actually building it up, creating it, and all that stuff. Essentially gonna leave a challenge. Like, if the challenge isn't, so I run mine about 8 hours. Oh my God. Till I actually make a video about it. I'm at the very bottom of the hour. Never miss help. And I'm excited for the future. I am really, 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 really excited for it. I'm gonna make this happen. We're gonna do some cool stuff. I'm gonna give somebody the opportunity, and I will make a video to see more of that later. Until next time, Taiwan Lily, if that's what that question was. Womp womp, buffer, buffer.